Look at this place. Now this morning I'm coming to you from Grand Cayman here in the Caribbean for one day only as part of this 6-night cruise on Carnival Horizon. Now today I'm going to take you to one of the best beaches in the world and I cannot wait. But look, let's go get breakfast first and then join me over there on the deck and let me walk you through the plan for today. Here we go, in for breakfast. I chose today to dine up at the Lido Marketplace, which is Carnival Horizon's onboard buffet. I have mentioned before, but I was pretty impressed with the food on board my Carnival cruise, especially considering how much or how little I paid to be on board. Here's an example of some of the pastries that you could get. You could also get loads of different types of bread. I'll show you more in my other videos. In terms of what I chose this morning, I went for beans on toast, which I think might be quite a British breakfast option, plus a pastry, some fruit, with my coffee, looking out over these views. Absolutely to die for. Okay, let's talk the plan for today because, as I say, we're only here for one day, so it's important that we know what we're getting up to when we get off the ship. Now, I came here on my first ever cruise about 7 or 8 years ago on Norwegian Escape. So I'm so looking forward to getting off here because, to be honest, I didn't have a YouTube channel back then and I didn't take too many photos, so I can't really remember what it's like. I remember it being absolutely beautiful, but I don't really have anything to look back on. Now, the reason we're going to 7 Mile Beach is because for the last couple of years, this has scored consistently within, I think it's the top 20 beaches in the world, but last year it was within the top 10. So if you've been following my channel for a while, you'll remember back on 2 ships ago when on Cunard's Queen Elizabeth I visited Aruba. Now, when I was there, I went to Eagle Beach, which was incredible, and I'm looking forward to seeing if here is as good. Now, 7 Mile Beach, I'll cover more facts on it when we get there because I'm quite keen to get off the ship. But what I did want to let you know today is that we're actually not docked at Georgetown, Grand Cayman today. We're docked, or we're not even docked, we're essentially anchored slightly outside out in the bay. Now, the reason for that is that we need to take little water shuttles to get in due to what is beneath us. So all around Grand Cayman, there's a lot of protected coral, and as a result of that, you can't take cruise ships all the way in. So what that means for us is that they essentially open up a door in the side of the ship, we leave this ship into smaller boats, and we use those smaller boats to head ashore. So that's the first thing that you'll be seeing today. But look, hopefully today we can squeeze in 7 Mile Beach and also a quick walk around Georgetown, which is where I'm looking at behind the screen right now. So look, join me as we head off into what should be another incredible port. Welcome to the top deck of Carnival Horizon as we are anchored just offshore here in Grand Cayman. Look at the colour of the water, it is absolutely amazing here. And I'll tell you, the heat today is unbelievable. I am really struggling already and I haven't even left the ship. If you want a day on the ship to enjoy it, this is potentially as good a day as any. Everybody has gone ashore, although hopefully throughout this episode I'll be able to persuade you that if you ever do dock here in Grand Cayman, you're going to have to get off the ship and do exactly what we are doing today, because I'll tell you now, what you're going to see in this episode is amazing. Now, there were some people who were checking out the facilities here, but really not very many at all. More on that later, because I genuinely think that where we are going today, the entire ship chose to go as well. Anyway, let's think about getting downstairs and getting off the ship. Disembarking from Carnival Horizon was really straightforward. You'll have seen in my last episode, you just head down to deck 0 and that's where the embarkation lobby is. And that means that's where you can embark your tender. Coming onto the boat, you can see it's pretty busy on here. It was a 2-floored boat that we got to shore. I don't think I've taken a 2-floor tender before. It was really efficient, it was really quick. I'll leave you to look at some of the views as we head from the ship over to the shore, and I'll see you when we get on safely to dry land. Okay, so tender went well, I would say. It was, what, 5 minutes and I'm already here. Now, anyway, behind me right now is the main cruise port. So this part is all locked down. You can't get in here unless you're a passenger on the cruise. And we're about to go through the main gate. Now, I can already hear them shout. In fact, I might be able to show you out. Oh, I can show you over here. I can already hear them all shouting, taxi, 7 Mile Beach, 7 Mile Beach. So yeah, I'm hoping that we'll be able to get a bus along there, because I think a bus would be significantly cheaper. But this is what the main street looks like here, which I'll flip the camera to give you a better look now. But this is the main street in this part of Grand Cayman. Not seeing any buses yet, but hopefully we're going to turn that corner and they will be waiting for us. So yeah, all going well. I'll see all of you very soon up at 7 Mile Beach. Guys, we need to talk money, because to be honest, I am shocked at what has just happened. Now, I've just got out the bus and I'm now just walking past all the other buses to head down to the beach. Now, one of the things that frustrates me so much about so many of these cruise ports is that when you get there, there's people offering taxis, cars, whatever, to get you to the main tourist attractions. Now, obviously today, one of the main places to go is 7 Mile Beach, and people down there at the port are charging $30 US dollars to get a taxi. Now, I've just walked for all of 3.5 minutes from the cruise port, and it cost me $2.50 to get to the beach. So let this be your lesson to just don't jump in those taxis at the port. Find out if you can get it cheaper, because if I had paid $30 there, and then found out someone had paid £2.50 or $2.50, I'd have been raging. But anyway, on that note, let's get on what should be one of the best beaches in the world, and I will see all of you down there. Now, these public buses are not luxurious by any stretch of the imagination. However, for that level of cost saving, I don't care one bit. Absolutely brilliant. Here's some of the scenery that we were passing on the way down to the beach. You can see the road runs right along the coast. It's really pretty all the way down. And then you get here after about 20 minutes. Now, first impressions, don't really understand why it's one of the best beaches in the world. There are so many people. Look, basically, the entire ship has also come along here. This is the exact part of the beach where all of the cruise line excursion buses would drop you off. That meant that people walked onto the beach and set up camp. However, if you walk no time at all in any direction, you will find that pretty quickly you're almost entirely alone. So my top tip, if you're going anywhere in the Caribbean, or especially 7 Mile Beach, don't set up camp for the day where everyone else does. Just grab your stuff, walk a little bit up the beach, and that is where you can relax, swim in the water, and just soak up the atmosphere without everybody else around you. Guys, honestly, can we just spend a minute talking about this beach? Like, for a start, the water's warm, which is, it's just like paradise. But look, that public beach that we arrived at on the bus is just right there. It's taken me 2 minutes to walk to here. And at this point, I've basically got the beach to myself. So my tip is, get dropped off there fine, but just walk up here. Like, yeah, fine if you've got kids, this bit might be a little bit too quiet, but if it's just you or just a few of you, this bit here is absolutely amazing and it's so quiet. Look, a couple of things that you need to think about if you are coming here for the day. Now, first up, bring a towel with you, which you can bring a towel off the ship, no problem. In fact, they encourage it because there's somewhere to drop wet towels as soon as you go back. Now, always bring that. Number two, always bring sun cream and always bring water. Water's a funny one because you can buy it off here, but it's amazing how much water you lose just by walking about somewhere like this. It's so hot, so just always pack water with you. And one thing you must remember to never, ever, ever bring off a cruise ship is food. The same way that you wouldn't fly internationally with food, you can't do it on a cruise. So any food, leave it at the buffet. Don't wrap it up, don't put it in a little tub, don't bring it ashore, because all that's going to happen is if you get searched, you're going to get a big meaty fine. So just don't bother doing it. And if you need food, buy it when you get here. Now, anyway, you know what I'm going to say. I'm going in this water. And unfortunately, I'm going to have to leave all of you here because if I break my camera right now, then you won't be seeing any more of my travels this year. So I'm going in there and I will probably see all of you when we're on the way back down to the ship. Right guys, 2.5 hours later, beach done, because if I stay here any longer, I'm going to get pretty sunburnt and none of us need that in our lives today. Now anyway, wrapping up on that beach, absolutely beautiful, but you have to go to the right bit because if I stayed down at that public beach, that would have driven me absolutely mad. So definitely pack a few provisions and just head slightly further up and just commit to lying in the sand because it is so much more relaxing. Anyway, we've got about an hour and a half before the last tender boat leaves the pier and I'm really keen to check out the town centre here. Now, I've got no idea what it's going to be like. I think it might be a little bit like Aruba was last week, where it felt tired. And I think it was just due to the fact that the beach is the main attraction and maybe tourism hasn't fully come back post-COVID yet. So yeah, the town was feeling a little bit closed. It's probably the better word for it. There wasn't much there that was open. Now, this might be the same, it might not. Let's hold judgment and head along together and have a look. Now, I'll next see you when we get back onto Carnival Horizon because, I mean, yeah, I am, as you can probably tell, I am in need of air conditioning. So I'll speak to all of you before we sail away from here. I think we should be leaving about 4 p.m. if the last boat leaves at like 3:15 or 3:30. So yeah, should be an absolutely gorgeous sail away from here, and I'm hoping that we might even see some wildlife because the water down there is, man, it is just so clear. So look, anyway, let's head down into the town centre and have a look round, and then I'll see you all properly back in the cabin. After a short ride on one of those public buses, it was back downtown by the cruise port. You will see pretty quickly in this footage, it was more or less a ghost town, which, given how busy the beach was, made me think, okay, either everyone's still on the beach, or they're all back at the terminal. Watch this space because I'm about to confirm which of them was the case. Anyway, there are lots of really beautiful buildings downtown. Right here is one of the museums. It is also worth noting though that everything closes here when the cruise ships get ready to re-embark all their passengers. I guess it's due to the fact that there's nobody left here. Everybody seems to visit on a cruise, and these places may well open again at night because they'll have local hotel guests that I would imagine would go out around the town, but cruise passengers won't be there to spend money anymore. So as soon as we all head back to the ship, the businesses tend to close. So for that reason, I enjoyed a walk round to have a quick look, but I wasn't able to buy anything. I wasn't able to go into anything in any great detail. Now, the downtown area here is directly opposite the cruise terminal where you will go to re-embark your ship. You can see Carnival Horizon anchored in the distance, and that gives you a pretty good idea of how long the journey would be between the pier and the ship. Anyway, it was time for me to head into the secure compound area of the terminal where, yes, you could buy plenty of souvenirs, and look at the queues. This is where everybody was. I've never seen queues like this waiting to get back onto a cruise ship. This was worse than Disneyland. I could not believe it. Let me know in the comments, have you ever experienced lines like this waiting to re-embark your cruise ship? If so, let me know where. I would love to know so that I can avoid them in future. Guys, this is going to be the quickest that I've ever spoken to you, and when I show you what is right here, you will fully appreciate why that is the case. So, one of my favourite things to eat on a Carnival ship are these guys' burgers that you get from the poolside grill. But you'll notice I'm not eating it poolside because, oh my goodness, the last hour and a half has just been mad. Not hour and a half, probably the last hour. I got back to that terminal there, and as you know, the queues were ridiculous to get on here. There was no water, there was nothing until you got right up to the tender, so I think it was just bad crowd control really, because factually, everyone was going to go back at roughly that time. So while I appreciate that Carnival can't do anything about the fact that quite a lot of people are queuing, guys, come on, put some water out, do something, just so that people are a little bit happier in the queue. There was a lot of pushing, there was a lot of shouting, and anyway, I'm now on. Now, the pushing then continued up at the poolside when I'm trying to get this burger, so yeah, this is one busy ship. I think this ship feels way busier than what Panorama did out at Long Beach a few weeks ago. So it's been very interesting to see how crowds were handled really well on Panorama, but on here, it feels as though the ship's under a bit of strain this week, if I'm perfectly honest. But yeah, look, 25 minutes queuing at the poolside grill. I have now got my burger, which is rapidly getting cold. So I'm going to go devour this, and then we'll head up to the top deck and look at sailaway from what should be an absolutely beautiful location today. As I said earlier, I'm hoping that we can see a little bit of wildlife. There was talk of a lot of turtles in the water, so hopefully if we get a good spot, we can do a bit of wildlife spotting. But yeah, time to eat. It's time to leave the port and time to watch Sailaway. Unfortunately for me, I didn't realise how much time had passed when I was down in my cabin enjoying my burger, which meant that by the time I got up here, we had already started the engines and we had already set off from where we were anchored. Now, I'm just showing you the top deck at the moment so you can get a feel for just how quiet the ship was despite the fact we were now back out at sea. I genuinely think it's because it was just so warm today. I haven't felt heat like this in a very, very long time, and let this serve as a really strong reminder to you to always factor heat into your day if you're planning a cruise to the Caribbean. It was very evident that people were trying to shelter from the sun, probably because they had spent the entire day relaxing on the beach. So if you are a sun lover and you want to lie out in it, you'll be fine during sail away from somewhere like Grand Cayman. Now I know what you're thinking, I wonder if you saw any wildlife. Well, not live wildlife or alive wildlife. I saw plenty up here, but I don't think this counts. This was up at one of the speciality dining options on the top deck. Other than that, nothing interesting to report. Right, shall we talk about dinner? Because I am now, shockingly after eating that burger and chips, I am hungry again. So on that note, I wanted to fill you in on what I think is the most clever thing that I've ever done. Well, okay, let me just close off. It's not the most clever thing I've ever done. It was the most clever thing I've ever done on a Carnival cruise. Let's go for that. Now, I love nothing more than sprinkles on an ice cream, but on here, they only have the toppings bar available during lunch, and it's only out for like 2 hours a day. So what I've decided is that, I'm hoping you can see in here, I have got, oh dear, great, I have gone and stolen some chocolate and rainbow sprinkles, which are now all over. Great, so we're going to have to deal with that. But this means that now, all day, every day, I can have toppings on my ice cream. So, top tip, head up to the toppings bar, grab a little dish or a little bowl, or in my case, a mug that you can just put in your fridge, and get some toppings in there. Granted, I'm now going to have to go on my hands and knees to pick these up, because I would never dream of leaving that for a cabin steward. So, yes. Do you ever do something and then wish you hadn't? Kind of where I'm at the moment. Right, anyway, let's talk about tonight. So it's currently 8:15. I've just gone onto the app to book my dinner table, which on this ship works very well. So all you do is you go on food, you click on your restaurant, you click book table, and then within 10 minutes, they assign you a table, you click, I'm on my way, and from there, you're in. So really good, and it's so annoying though, because it works so well on Carnival. Yeah, on Cunard last week, it was a nightmare. And both of them are owned by Carnival Corporation, so the tech on here is so much better, which for a more budget product is surprising, but it's good. Now, after dinner, I'm going to go to the show. Now, if you've seen my Panorama series, then I'll have seen you little bits from this show. It's called Soulbound. I think this is the one where it's all sort of cauldrons and witches and all that sort of thing. And I remember being so impressed with it. I haven't seen the performers on this cruise yet, which is odd because it's day 3 now. In fact, it's day 4 now, and this is the first show that they've done, so it's felt quite late, if I'm honest with you. So I'll go in there, looking forward to that. Now, if you weren't going to the show tonight, you could go to comedy, but to be honest, comedy I need to really be in the mood for on a cruise ship, so I probably won't go to that. But they have a really cool comedy club on here. There's some movies happening up at the pool. I'll maybe take you up and show you that actually at the end of the night. And then the comedy shows go all the way up until about 11:30. Now, tomorrow we're actually starting a bit of a weird time, so we dock tomorrow in Cozumel, Mexico, about 10:30. So it means that you can get up, get ready, while we are still not docked. So it should be quite a luxury tomorrow. And I think all aboard isn't until 6 p.m, so we've got all day to explore ashore. Now, because tomorrow's another full port day, I don't think I'll come back on the camera at the end of tonight because I will just be, yeah, exhausted and looking forward to going again tomorrow. So I will say now, just a massive thank you for following along on my journey. I hope you've enjoyed today and I hope you've enjoyed seeing a little bit of Grand Cayman. Now, tomorrow is Cozumel. At the moment, no idea what I'm getting up to. I think it might be a beach day, but not sure. I think there's quite good shops and stuff in Cozumel from what I've been told. So I guess join me in my next video and we'll explore together. But the only final thing from me to mention tonight is that it's formal night on here. So they call it Cruise Elegant on here. Now, Cruise Elegant on a Carnival ship is nowhere near Cruise Elegant on a lot of other ships. So what I'm wearing tonight, I will be fine, if not overdressed with. And I am wearing this check shirt, a pair of jeans, and then brown, just like normal brown shoes. I don't even know if they would have got into shot there, but just normal brown shoes. And this actually is pretty well dressed. So yeah, very different dress codes on here in comparison to other lines, but I do really like it. I think there's a real place for a cruise product that doesn't put a big emphasis on being formal all the time. But anyway, look, enough chat from me, because my dinner table will be ready any minute now. I'll see all of you at dinner, followed by the show, and then in Cozumel in Mexico. So yeah, let's go and eat. Time for dinner. Let's go downstairs from my cabin to the dining room and let me show you what my night looked like on board. The dining room itself on Carnival Horizon, I was really impressed with. Look at how modern this looks, yet still really grand for what is a relatively budget cruise line. In terms of solo dining, that was absolutely not an issue on this ship. I was made to feel so welcome as a solo, so if you are viewing this video with potential apprehensions, do not worry. I wish I kept the menu tonight so I could tell you with certainty what I ordered. However, I believe this was calamari, followed by a salad, followed by some type of fish dish, which I think looking at it now, it looks like salmon, but maybe don't hold me to that. Now, halfway through the meal, the weirdest thing happened. All the lights started to flash, all this music started playing, and then the waiters and waitresses and some guests all started dancing. It was so unexpected. This wasn't the last night of my cruise. It turns out this happens quite often on Carnival ships. Not my scene, but do you know what? When I'm on vacation, I actually really enjoyed it. I then headed up to the buffet to finish off what I started earlier with that cup of sprinkles. And yes, I enjoyed a very cheap and cheerful dessert of unlimited ice cream, which was great. It was then time for me to head down to the theatre for another show. I really enjoyed this show. Let me leave you now with a few clips so that you can enjoy both the talent on stage, but also how Carnival have managed to incorporate technology into this production. Really impressed. And that's it, another day over here on Carnival Horizon. If you've enjoyed this video today, it would be great if you would give it your like by clicking the thumbs up button down below, and also click subscribe because it massively helps my channel to grow. Anyway, wherever you are in the world, thank you so much for being here today, and I really do hope to see you in my next video. If you enjoyed this video today, did you know that you can become a member of my YouTube channel for an exclusive behind the scenes look at some of the ships that I'm travelling on? If you're over on Patreon, then I would love to see you over there. All you have to do to join me on that community is just search www.patreon.com/Fraser at Sea. Both my YouTube memberships and my Patreon site lead directly to me getting on more cruise ships, and both offer a completely behind the scenes look at what's going on.